Hey guys, you have been doing such a great job this year with all these projects. We're just going to finish up with a couple of really quick, simple, but fun ways to make a nice painting. Now this paper is just 6 by 9 inches. It's watercolor. It's pretty good quality, and you notice what I did very first was I brushed the whole thing down with a nice layer of water. That's how I get all this great movement. And then I got my brush really wet before I dipped my colors in. So that's called wet and wet, when we wet down the whole paper and then use wet paint on top, and you'll see how that paint just spreads gorgeous. I used a nice wide brush for this, and I start with my lightest color and then work up to my darkest color. And you see when I tipped it there, it kind of spread just like Northern Lights. So have fun tipping your paper in different directions and seeing what that does. I continue to add water. Now, don't overwork it, just gently place those colors into that water and see what happens. Now, this video is sped up, so you don't have to work quite this fast, but I still recommend working fast. Now, I just put a little salt there, and make sure when you use salt that your paper is very wet or the salt will not work. Don't put too much salt on or it'll clump up. So I'm getting a new piece of paper here to try a new technique where I am drawing some spruce trees just by making really quick horizontal squiggles down a stick, making them different sizes and making some kind of little funny bloops coming out of them because trees are not perfect. Now I'm getting the background wet again, and you'll see me kind of go through the same thing here where I start with my light color and work my way dark. I looked at pictures online to see kind of the different patterns they make, and the way I'm getting it to spread like that is by having lots of water, and occasionally you'll see me lift the paper to tip it and make those colors spread even more. I added a little bit of violet and red this time, and you guys, I encourage you, add some pinks, add some oranges, do any colors that you want that look like the pictures that you're looking at. Again, I'm tipping that up, adding a little bit more paint. And I usually like to go back on the top and add darker color as well. So you'll see I'm going in here and adding some really rich violets in where there might be some darker sky. But the Northern Lights really do light up that whole sky. And if you want your paint to dry faster, because you do have to let it dry between steps, you can always use a blow dryer too. That way it can dry and then you can see it. I'm picking this one up. Now you can see the salt on my #1 painting has made some little snowflakes. Now I'm just going to take a brush, a thin round brush, and I am going to paint in my trees this time. Kind of the same strategy I used before, trying to make each tree a little bit different, a little different size, and sometimes I mix the black with a little bit of blue or purple, violet. Want to get that all done there. And so it kind of depends on what you want to do. You'll also see that after I do this watercolor, I'm going to go back to my crayon drawing, and I'm going to do some crayon on top of the wet paper that I had before. So different options for that. Just going over and doing another layer on the bottoms. One more tree in there. And then I actually went back in and put a little bit more dark color up top and tried to add a little bit more salt to that too, just because I felt like it was a little too light and needed a little bit more contrast. And I think I went down by the bottom and added some darker color in there too. So just kind of go with your gut. do what you want. Now I'm getting out my number 2 painting here. I love how the sky just worked out so well in that. And what I'm going to do is get a little bit of white acrylic paint and water it down a little bit. And you're going to see me do some splatter painting on this guy here. So kind of wiping up some of the paint that I accidentally dropped on it, and then I'm gonna flick it into the sky, make some stars. And then I remembered I should probably put something over the trees because the stars wouldn't be on top of the trees. And then you'll see I'm going back in, and the crayon looks a lot darker when I do it on top of the watercolor. So I think I ended up going back over all the trees and making them all a little bit darker. But I think it ended up, the double layer made a really pleasing effect. And I think I ended up with 2 really nice Northern Lights paintings. So enjoy this activity, and thanks for being awesome. Bye.